So this is probably one of the simplest video that I'll ever make because supplements, right? Like things that you need to basically supplement in your life, and yet still some people are confused about it. So yeah, this video is going to be extremely short, extremely simple, to the point, no bluff, none of that stuff. So let's just first understand like what supplement actually means, right? Supplements are basically things that you add into your life. Supplements can be anything, right? Not necessarily it has to do something with food intake or any of that stuff. Supplements are basically things that you add into your life that can adhere or like help you to achieve your goal, right? Other than the main stuff that you're doing, right? So in terms of food intake, so in terms of going to the gym, supplements, such as protein shakes, such as creatine, zinc, fish oil, magnesium, all of that stuff are basically some things that you might add into your daily diet that would help you to achieve your daily caloric intake goal, right? And the thing is, you don't need supplements, right? It's not a necessity, right? It's not like if you don't take supplements, you would never be able to make gains in the gym. No, it doesn't work like that. All you need is the right nutrients for your muscles to grow and in order for you to be healthy, for as long as you are alive. But supplements is something that would, obviously help you, right? So let me get straight to the point and just give you my, own personal example, which is when I was in school, right? I was not able to have 3 or 4 meals a day because I was in school most of the time. And the problem with that is if you're in school as like as you would eat in your home, right? So I was in that awkward stage where I was having breakfast, then I was hardly having lunch, then I was having dinner, right? So somewhere in between breakfast and lunch I was having my protein shake, right? Why? Because I needed that, right? I needed to supplement my daily protein goal, right? If I didn't supplement it, I would never be able to complete it by daily food intake, like my daily whole foods, right? And here's the thing. If like I said, you don't need supplement, right? If you are able to complete your daily protein goal, daily creatine goal, daily, whatever, nutrients goal by whole foods, by natural whole foods, the foods that we have been eating for, like I mean, so the longest time since the dawn of time, since, humans have started evolution, right? Since that time, the foods that we are eating, rice, chicken, meat, um, red meat, whatever that is, eggs, and yeah, many more things, and fruits, right? If you're eating these whole foods and you are completing your daily micronutrients, macronutrients goals, right? There is no need for you to supplement anything, right? But let's be honest, supplements are really easy to get into your into your gut because let's be honest, food takes times to create. Like you have to cook foods, right? Then you have to eat it, right? While supplement is like you just chug it, a scoop of protein, a scoop of creatine, that's it. You shake a little bit and then you chug it, and boom, there's like 25 to 30 grams of protein in a single meal. Plus you're not satiated enough, right? So if you're bulking, protein goals could be I'm sorry, protein shakes could be a game changer, right? So yeah, that's all I needed to say about what is supplement and if you actually need it or not. Now let's come down to basically my three favorite supplements, right? That I think everyone should take it if you need it, right? It's not like you have to take it, but everyone should take it if you're thinking about, if I'm spending money, I might as well spend on something that is actually good for me, that is actually give me to and that is actually going to give me the most bang for buck for my money. So proteins, right? Let's talk about protein shakes. Protein shakes is one of the most discussed and also researched after creatine when it comes to supplements in your daily life, whatever that could be, right? And there are many kinds of protein shakes. First of all, whey. Whey also have categories, under that. It could be concentrate, it could be isolate, right? And those are only the two that is most famous and most research out of that. That's why I mentioned there are many more. But if you're someone like a beginner, you don't need protein shakes, to be honest, because your body is getting used to that much of protein intake, that much of stress when you're going to the gym. When you are an maybe when you have gone to the gym for about close to 1 year, then you could start supplementing, because by then your weight is increasing and you need more and more protein as the time goes by, right? So if you're a beginner, no need for protein shakes, no need for basically any supplements, right? But if you're someone who has been going to the gym close to 1 year, you definitely need, again, definitely being used in a subjective perspective. If you, like, for me, I don't take protein shakes, right? Because now I have a, way more free time when it comes to, when I was going to college compared to that time. So now I don't take protein shakes. The only thing that I take right now is creatine, because I cannot really, complete my creatine goal by eating, too much red meat, because red meat does contain, creatine, but it doesn't contain, that much amount of creatine that my body daily needs for it to perform the way I'm performing right now. So protein shakes, absolutely fine. Try to get the isolate, right? Don't try to get the concentrate, because concentrate is heavy on your gut. That's why it is named concentrate. It is concentrated form of whey. So it takes much more energy, much more time for your gut to break it down and then release the energy. Try isolate. Is the most amount, like the most famous, form of whey that everyone takes, and it is really good. And then again, we have casein protein powder. We have plant protein powder. To be honest, plant protein powder, I don't think it's good enough, because since it's, derived from plant, it doesn't contain all of the, amino acids that, like a normal whey has, right? So, if you don't know, proteins are basically made out of amino acids. Whey protein, whey isolate proteins contains all of the amino acids that you need, right? But it's not the same case when it comes to plant protein. So I would say stick to whey protein, and when you should take it is completely up to you. It really doesn't matter. Take it in the morning with a breakfast. Take it before the gym as a pre-workout meal. Take it after the gym as a post-workout meal. Whatever it can be. Just try to not take it too close to bedtime. So that you have a good night's sleep. So that's all I needed to say about protein, and it's really simple. So now, my second favorite supplement is creatine. And creatine is the safest, the most researched supplements in the entire world, because it was notorious for having rumors that are actually, okay, creatine is dangerous. It could cause, liver damage. It could cause, kidney damage, all of that stuff. But I'm here to say is that creatine could be a magic supplement for you, especially if you're a vegan, right? Because for those of us who eat meats, right, we get creatine naturally from, meats, right? But if you're a vegan, there's no way that you could get creatine from plants and all of that stuff, right? So what does creatine do? I'm just going to give a little bit of science lecture, like maybe 2 minutes, whatever that it could be. So basically, creatine, what it does is it helps you to increase your performance. It helps you to increase your, power, and it basically helps you to retain water in your muscles so that, you look fuller and bigger all the time. Now, how does it work? Right? Remember, I told you it helps to increase your, performance, and helps to increase your energy, right? So there's something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Like the word tri means three. So there are three phosphate atoms, right? When you are working out, you expend one phosphate atom, right? That's basically you having that energy. Now you're, I'm tired again. What creatine does is that creatine again brings that phosphate atoms and make that diphosphate into triphosphate again, so that you could reuse that molecule and reuse that molecule for energy, like the phosphate atom. Now do you see, like, how creatine helps you to basically increase your energy, your performance throughout your workout? That's basically what creatine does. That's one of the main function. Like, another function is that creatine, when you're taking weeks after weeks, it's in that loading phase, right? So when you take creatine and when you drink enough water, what it does is, creatine stores that water in your muscle, right? And it makes your muscle look bigger, fuller, right? So that's again another good, use case of creatine. So creatine is like the best supplement, and it is the fastest acting supplement. So if you take creatine, you will be able to see result within 1 week of taking it. The form of creatine that you should take is creatine monohydrate, right? Because all of the other forms are not as much researched as the creatine monohydrate. So creatine monohydrate, it is the most researched among all of the forms of creatine. So basically any creatine that is completely powdered form, none of that gravel sand shit, it's completely in powdered form, like a very fine, powder. If you are taking something like that, chances are you know taking something really good. But if you're not, try changing your creatine to something which is known as creatine monohydrate. Basically, it is powdered form, like complete powder. None of that, like sand texture. None of that bigger particles. It's really in the powdered form is where the creatine monohydrate is found at. So the third supplement that I need to talk about is multivitamin. Multivitamin and minerals, right? And fish oil. I mean, multivitamins and fish oil, to be honest, because, those vitamin tablets also contain minerals. And the only reason I say it is because most of us doesn't have a balanced diet, right? If you're already eating clean, if you're already eating a balanced diet, right? I mean, fairly clean, you're hitting your daily protein goals, you're also eating fruits, you're also eating carbohydrates, chances are you don't need multivitamins, right? And you're also eating fish, you don't need fish oil, right? The only reason I suggest fish oil is because that fish oil, omega-3 fish oil, really helps in your joint health, right? So if you're someone who lifts heavy, chances are if you don't eat fish enough, if you don't take omega-3 fish oil enough, it will hurt your joints in the long term. Or you should introduce fish into your diet, right? Either way could help. And multivitamins, if you're having fruits daily, no problem. You don't need to take multivitamin. But if you are not having fruits and vegetables, daily, chances are you are a little bit mineral and vitamins deficient. Supplementing multivitamins for completing your micronutrients and supplementing fish oil, omega-3 fish oil to complete your fish oil deficiency could really help. And yeah, that's all I needed to say about this video. Just to summarize it, take protein shakes if you want to complete your daily protein goal and you think that, eating whole foods all the time could be a hindrance to your protein goals. It could be a hindrance to your daily lifestyle. Maybe you work in sales, maybe you do have a job, right? Eating whole foods, home cooked foods is not possible for you all the time. So, you would just, scoop in one scoop of, protein powder and it will be good to go. If you think that, no problem with that. Creatine, everyone should take creatine. Doesn't matter if you're an athlete, if you are a daily gym goer, if you are a power lifter, doesn't matter. Creatine is really good. It helps you in recovery. It helps you in explosive workouts. It gives you energy and it makes your muscle look fuller and bigger. And yeah, multivitamins and fish oil. That's all I need to say about this video. Yeah, peace.